0050193. The Public Opinion Research Office has just conducted its first survey, the results of which have recently been made public. The questions asked was, how do people see the past, present, and future of the nation? In order to ensure credible results, the Bureau sent out questionnaires to 2,975 citizens of various social standings, ranks, professions, and religious persuasions. The questions were as follows. Your opinion of the present government is?
Favorable. I trust the government. They know what they are doing. They are fully capable of making decisions for us. Unfavorable. The government is not to be trusted. Neither favorable nor unfavorable. But a little improvement wouldn't hurt. I want to move to Mexico.
Examiner 1990423. One 3030305042020. Violation number 3506789. Change of questions composed for the most recent public opinion survey. What are your cultural interests?
I go to the movies, ball games, and bars. From time to time, I look out the window. I am most happy when I don't have to get into human interaction whatsoever. Just me and my phone on the sofa. That's all I need. Fuck the Kardashians.
Examiner, please respond. Examiner, is that correct?
Correct.
The original questions have been replaced with the following questions. Do you have an opinion on the political parties? Do you educate yourself on the political climate? And are you comfortable allowing others to make decisions for you?
Correct.
Do you feel manipulated?
I trust influences. My ideas and opinions are just other people's ideas and opinions I also share. I like to listen to other people's ideas and opinions. I only care about what I think. I don't need influences. No comment.
Your philosophical orientation tends toward Your philosophical orientation tends toward. Your philosophical orientation tends toward.
Marxism. Anti-Marxism. Science fiction. Alcoholism.
Now I am going to repeat the questions one by one. I would like to ask you to recite as many answers as you can remember.
Understood.
Do you have an opinion on the political parties?
No. Seems to be the answer that echoes throughout inner cities and ghettos. Fuck them, can't trust them, can't see them, can't touch them, they are so far removed. So once again the rich get richer, whilst the rest of us lose. We vote for a dude who is really a minion. But those on whom the financial scape tips in their favor say they love such and such, he and or she is my neighbor. It ranges from conservative to labor. Need I go on? Yeah, true news, but not the papers. Oh yeah, it seems hardly anyone trusts the papers. The papers. It was once news, now it's all glam and glitter. I can get a raw-breaking story faster to Twitter. Major news websites have quotes of tweets and Instagrams. The papers have sadly become a middleman, but still more important than me and my vote. So yes, I educate myself so I know what I am up against. Hardly as important as me and my vote. So yes, I educate myself so I can make a better decision to further my vision for this country. Government has a purpose, and part of that is to make decisions. So whether I am comfortable or not, they are gonna survey. Although it usually feels like more of a task and less of a service. On one hand, we should be able to make our own decisions and be held accountable for those. But we already have laws and look how that's turning out. But this is our lives. We deserve some control. Could go to vote. Are you turning out? One person said, all my decisions are made for me. Netflix determines what I watch. Uber recommends what I eat. Spotify has me in their algorithms. Seriously. Google knows me better than my mother.
Why deny it? As a child, I had the usual foolish dreams. For instance, I wanted to become a pilot, an engine driver, or failing that, an engine. Sometimes I even fantasized that when I grew up I will become the Hogwarts Express. A distant relative, the titular abbot Dr. Nisa, a highly educated and sober-minded gentleman, tried to talk me into becoming a pebble. To tell the truth, the finality and the rounded-out silence held a certain attraction for me. But Mom wanted just the opposite. She wanted me to become something related to time. You go and be an egg, she'd urge me now and again. An egg is birth and death all at once. It is time passing in a fragile shell. Anything can come of an egg, she reasoned. But man proposes, God disposes, and so here I am, sand in an hourglass. Possibly so both Uncle Nisa and Mom should be pleased. It is not easy landing such a comfortable job. But let it be said to Uncle Nisa's credit that Even though he disapproved of me compromising my principles in that way, he pulled some strings and I was hired on a temporary basis. I am temporary because I'm only used for cooking eggs, so Mom was right on 2 counts, I guess. For some time, everything went smoothly, and I was beginning to think that I'd managed to make a very pleasant life for myself. That's when calamity struck. From one day to the next, I got lumpy, which for a sand is disastrous. I managed to squeeze my legs through, but my backside it just keeps getting stuck like in the bottleneck and with alarming frequency. I've tried going head first, but I still didn't come out ahead, if you know what I mean. There I am, squirming for all I'm worth for what seems like hours. The egg stops cooking, the hourglass comes to a standstill, and all those grains of sand wait helpless above my head. They do not rush me in any way, mind you. Still, their patience acts on me like a mute reproach, and it's driving me nuts. I can't even pretend it's not my fault, because it is. I must have had a tendency to go lumpy all along. The truth is that I am just a reckless, rebellious and unsociable individual patiently unfit for scent. At such times, all sorts of things come to mind. Anyone who sees me today would never believe, but I could have become a vacuum in a light bulb. And there was a boy too, a pretty though silly creature called Peter, who was employed at Buttress and Snatch. Anyhow, one day he turned to me and said, "Listen, why don't you come with me and we will make a lady's panties out of you?" I was deeply offended at the time. But in my present predicament, his offer seems like an answer to my prayers. Even if being a pair of ladies' underpants is not what you call a challenge, it's got a certain je ne sais quoi about it, if you know what I mean. Instead, I am stuck in the bottleneck. Again, from which place I wish to inform all those who I may have disappointed that though I received nothing but bad advice from my loved ones, I have no one to blame but myself. I shouldn't have settled for this dull but secure existence. Had I been a little more adventurous, with a bit of luck, I might have made something out of myself.